What is up, guys? All right, we got Isaac, Austin, Juliet, and Troy. Heck yeah. All right, and today's topic is going to be about turning these code snippets that the AI writes and codes up for us into a full software. All right, and here's what we're going to do. Right now, I am building a software for a client, and that client came to me because they wanted it built in Bubble. And I actually love Bubble, right? If you guys didn't know, my AI team is built in Bubble. I have built, basically, I learned from a YouTube video on Bubble, learned from it, learned how to build Bubble in like a 4-hour YouTube video. And then I jumped into Bubble. And then with about 2 weeks, I created my first software. Never building a software in my life, right? Just being around it, being on the internet and having all this. However, I believe it's fantastic how fast you could build with Bubble. Combining Bubble with my AI team for the AI coding unlocks so much. All right. And so here's what I've done is over the last few days, I've showed you guys how to connect to Xano because connecting to Xano is pretty important. Xano is going to be your login, but Bubble also has a login. So it doesn't mean you have to use Xano or you have to use just Bubble. However, I do like Xano because you could pull back a lot more records. There's a lot of cool things you can do with Xano. Okay. So I have connected both of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the software that I've been building for a client, and I'm going to go over the exact step, like start to finish, because here's the thing is today I just sent them a message. We are really close to launching their software. Like,
awesome.
I'm talking like a week or so away from like, hey, like the software's done. If you want any updates, you could pay for updates, right? But outside of that, like everything is going to be built. All right. And so I'm going to show you guys everything from start to finish, their whole software, actually before they've seen it so far. They haven't seen all the stuff, and they're not too technical to know the behind the scenes of what you guys are going to be seeing. Right. But this is how you combined all of the snippets together and to build a full software. So if you want them to connect, if you want them to talk to each other, if you want them to be in one central location to have all a login, this is kind of the visual way to do it. And it's not like there's one way to build software on the internet. There's 1,000 ways. This is just one of the ways that I'm building because I could build fast. The client has, it's a $3,000 a month software build for this client, right? I gave him a homie hookup, all right, because it was my friend Calvin, right? So literally it's a $3,000 a month software build. They've only paid one invoice so far, $3,000. And we're almost ready to launch a full entire custom software, start to finish, all built with AI, no code, in Xano. All right, Bubble. All right, so here we go. We're going to show you guys start to finish what that actually looks like so you can see, okay? So I'm going to show you guys the behind the scenes. Okay, so if we logged into their Bubble, all right, we're going to start off at the sign up page. Okay, so if I go to sign up, this is the sign up. So here's what's interesting is I actually built their sign up page in Bubble. Okay, so if you look at this over here, you can see there's groups, there's like little things. And here's the thing is the reason I did this is because one is I sometimes might want Bubble logins and I sometimes might want Xano logins. Okay, so I didn't want to fully custom code it because then now you have to figure out how to connect to the back end and you have to figure out the code. And sometimes it's just easier to say, hey, when I click on this button and then you see where it says edit workflow. Well, if I hit edit workflow, this tells me what this button does. Okay, so remember, there's 3 parts in software and Bubble has all 3 parts. So this is why I love Bubble, because you could build everything that you need to build as far as software inside these things. Okay, there's 3 parts. There's one, the design, which is what does the software look like? You see how it looks, right? This is the design. I can update. There's all these visual elements on the left-hand side. This is the design. The next part is the workflows. So that means what happens when you push the button, right? So when I click on this button and I hit edit workflow, what happens? Like what's the logic, right? After that, the last thing is data. All right, what do you save the data, right? Well, that happens back here. So if you see when I click the button, it says when primary button is clicked, do these things, okay? So then it says step 1, sign up for Xano. Nice. All right, so we have a Xano sign up. So if I hit preview, all right, if I hit preview on this page right here, it's just name, email, password, and then it says create account. Okay, well, right here, when I click that button, it sends it over here. Well, this is what it does. Well, it says sign up for Xano, and it says make changes to current user. Well, here's the cool thing. I'm not actually signing them into Bubble. You could make it where it says sign up to Bubble. I'm actually signing them into Xano, right? So I actually connected the behind the scenes and the plugins. You could connect an API connector, right? And I connected Xano as an API connector. This is like me copying and pasting the Swagger documentation that we talked about the other day over here. Like when you copy and paste all this information, well, this is manually setting it up in Bubble. It doesn't mean it's not easy. It's not like impossible to do. It's just maybe it's not as copy and paste, right? But there's cool things you could go through and you could set it up and you could see I have log in and then I have sign up, right? And so in here, my workflows, I'm signing the user up through it and then they're going to the next page, right? So I'm signing them up and then they're going to the next page and I'm passing in the auth token. That's it. Now, whenever they go to the next page, if they don't have the auth token, they get kicked out. So right here, check out this. Now we have a sign up page, create your account, and then we have a login page. All right. So I have a login page, right? Well, now I have a login. Boom. Welcome to ChatBridge. Well, this page is the login page. So if I go into the login, also, I built this one in Bubble. The reason why I want to build the sign-in page, because look at all it is sign into Xano, go to this page, right? This is the login page. That's it. Super simple. Sometimes you can build custom code. However, this literally took me 3 minutes. Sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes drag and drop is just as fast. Got a question?
Yes. So when you're signing up the user,
Yep.
I noticed in your workflows you don't have it to where they are selecting a plan before they get access to the dashboard. How are you managing that aspect?
Yeah, that's a great question. So basically that's like the next direction that I talked with the client is how are they going to want to onboard customers? Okay. Because we have a sign-in, which is going to have that. However, after they create their account, now they're going to get access to the inside. And the inside is we might have pretty much that's where we got to decide is with them is I wanted the functionality so they could test and sign up and they could say, yes, this software works. This is great. And they could test themselves. Okay. The next part of this is, you're right, Austin, thank you, is turning it into the software as a service. And here's the thing is I've been building those pages and that's kind of like coding it and like go high level and all that stuff. However, they want the functionality of the software first before the things like that, right? So I'm trying to get that set up. And then next, as soon as I get all this basic functionality done, then we're going to build that, hey, like turn on the accounts and figure out what the pricing is. And so I think that's the next conversation I need to have with them with where we're at right now, as far as the next step of the client. So that's exactly true. So right now I just have the basic sign up and sign in. No like accept payments or handling that. As soon as I do that, most likely before they ever seen the sign up page right here, they're going to pay. This will probably be on the thank you page. Does that make sense of the purchase of the product?
Yeah. Yep.
Is my thought. So yeah, so that might be in a thank you page. So I'm just trying to figure out where that's going to be. It might be after a payment, or it might be create your free account and then they have like a 7-day trial. I'm not fully 1000% sure exactly what we're going to do just yet. However, that's what that conversation with the client is going to have next. But freaking awesome question, man. You're absolutely right. And thank you for like making me think about that.
So kind of a sidetrack question, if you don't mind, because I've been seeing, and I don't know if you guys are following what's going on with Stripe and whatnot. There is a lot of people losing a lot of money throughout Stripe. And do you have a preference, like a better alternative to Stripe that people aren't using or aren't going to be or having $62,000 in Stripe fees?
Yeah, I mean, there is ways, basically, like
Right, that's what I heard of, Waze or something like that. It's called Wise or Waves or something.
Yeah. I mean, so there's a ton. It's really just finding those ones. Maybe what I'll do in that tool directory that I've been building will add payment processors, right? I think that's a great idea. To the directory that we've been building, you know, the little like human AI.
I mean, there is one that we could use, but Stripe just acquired them, which was Lemon Squeezy.
Yeah, Lemon Squeezy is what I've been hearing. And I mean, really, I'm sure a quick Google search and finding them and then just seeing which ones could connect. I think Lemon Squeezy is probably the one I would use, PayPal. But I mean, a lot of them, here's the thing is, so Isaac actually just messaged me before this, and he was talking about like the danger of like sometimes building on another platform. You see how I'm building on Bubble right now? Well, like if Bubble went out of business, that sucks. Like I could potentially like, dude, like my whole company could be under, right? Well, same thing with if Stripe kicks you off, you have to figure out a contingency plan, like how to fix that. A lot of times, like I grew up in my marketing business career in the restricted markets, right? Like I was in firearm industry, right? So I was like literally like trying to promote my business on Instagram, promoting ammo. And then I left the firearm industry and I went to the cannabis industry for like 4 years, 4 or 5 years. And I was promoting over there. And so a lot of times I would wake up and my Facebook account shut down, like the whole thing. And so I always know like, you want to build like, just know that nothing on the internet, nothing in life is permanent at all, unfortunately, right? Like our time on life is temporary, right? But the internet we don't own the internet. I don't know even where that exists. I don't know who created all this. I don't know how it fully works. Somebody could unplug my domain and all of a sudden, dude, that's off. You know, like Bubble could go down and that whole thing's down. Your payment processor could go down, and you're absolutely right. So always try to have these backups, like literally like when you start to get into the $1 billion companies and all those multi-million-dollar companies, like they have backups of their backups. You know what I mean? Like because things go down. So always have a payment processor in the back of things. Like I have 2 right now. I have Stripe and I have PayPal, and I have Authorize.net in the back pocket. However, Authorize.net costs a monthly service. It's like a $20 fee or whatever per month. Well, the other ones are free. They just take a percentage. So it's like, whatever, you know what I mean? So there's different ways to do it. So it's just one of those things. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have a contingency plan. Always, you know what I mean? Like Bubble changed their pricing overnight. Literally, they made it where it's more expensive to run what's called workflow units, right? So that means every time you push the button, it costs extra. Well, guess what? The custom coding that we do now solves the workflow units because it uses custom code, not Bubble's workflow units. So there's different ways to get around it. You just have to get creative. One of the things, it's interesting because Isaac, him and I are becoming more friends as we start to code and start to learn stuff. So we talk more now. He literally messaged me and said he was stuck with an issue in a problem. He couldn't get past something. And he asked how to do it. What's crazy is literally like, I didn't have the solution. I absolutely didn't have the solution. The solution is sometimes to take a nap. And then you wake up and it's just like, oh man, like I was dreaming about this and it came to me. And then that's how you solve it. All right. So a lot of times it's not about beating it with a stick to solve it. Sometimes the answer is easy and it just comes to you in a dream. But have multiple ways to work around it. Know how to work on Bubble and know how to work on custom code. Know how to work on Xano and know how to work on plug on Stripe and plug in PayPal and plug in Braintree, right? Like, thank you for dropping that, Troy, right? Like all of these different things you're able to plug into. And as a developer, you become more valuable the more you could connect into these things. The more you know, okay, I know if this happens, I could solve it like this. If I know my payment processor went down, I have 6 other in mind and I know where to find them. Okay, so the life of a developer it's so funny. Ooh, it's like a bug every single time. You see how it says 15 issues right here? Oh, I love these issues, right? Because here's the thing. As soon as I get one down, then I got a new one to work on. And then I got a new one to work on. And then I got a new one to work on. My client just messaged me. He says, hey, like, we're doing so amazing on this build, but I haven't seen the ability to do this and add the ability for white label and add the ability to do all this stuff. Oh, you haven't? Perfect. We'll add that next. That's called job security. Oh, you need to keep working on it. You want to keep adding more features. You want to keep growing it. You want to keep making it cool thing. Perfect. Dude, yes, let's build. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, those are long-term clients where they're just like, think about Facebook. Is Facebook done being built?
No.
Not at all. There's still hundreds of developers, probably thousands of developers working on Facebook. Like, it's one of those things where when you're a developer for a company and they want you and you're doing a great job, they're going to keep you. They're going to gladly keep paying you. They're going to want to keep building more. They're going to want to keep upgrading. So you want to keep building your skills. Think about a doctor, right? My wife and I, we help doctors and nurses and doctors build build webinars and stuff online. I actually haven't built any software for the nurses and doctors yet, which I'm really wanting. That's why I'm trying to learn the Xano to learn HIPAA compliant databases, because I want to learn that stuff. Because if I can learn HIPAA compliant databases, how much more valuable am I to those doctor clients? Well, here's what's interesting is doctors and nurses, they say their job is called a practice. A practice. They're actually performing surgery on the practices. Like, they're practicing surgery. The same thing with you guys. When you're building software, it's not, if you're nervous to take on a client and you're like, oh man, like, I don't know if I could take on a client because I don't know how to do this, all this. Your software business is a practice. You're getting better every single time you do. I have never, somebody has their mic on. I have never in my life connected to Xano before this. Right? I've never connected and done some of this. However, I'm learning, and now I'm looking at the documentation. I'm like, oh, this is so easy. This makes so much sense because I've done all of this, this, and this, and this. So over time, you start to know more. And then you're like, oh man, I know this. And you're just whipping around. You're able to do anything. And then being able to build any software you could ever imagine in your brain. Do you know how great of a feeling that is? It's so fun. My client tells me they want to add something, and I'm like, I got you. I know how to translate your vision into software. Like, it's a translation period. And here's what's crazy is they don't know how to talk to the AI in order to do that. And I'm fine with that. I'm so happy that I know how to just sit there and say, make it like this. And they're too scared to even try. So happy. That's what I love about this, is because this becomes literally, I've been looking for something that AI couldn't do, that I could outsource my work to AI, and it's a high-paying task. Do you guys know when I first started this, if you guys look at my Facebook feed and you guys go into images, and I was starting off making watercolor color flower PNG. And this is the type of stuff I was making to try to make money. I was selling like peanuts. And I was trying to make it where you could make little things, and I was like, it was. Do you know the pay difference between selling flower PNGs and selling software? Like, miles different. Like, absolutely wild. So here's the thing: is this is a high-paying task that the AI is able to do for me. The job is done by AI. I'm outsourcing not to a human, but to an AI to create 90% of my software. So here's what happens. What happens when you log into the software?
Why the tech industry is laying off all the IT people.
And who are they going to hire? The people that know how to do what I'm doing right now. This, I promise you guys, this is the way of the future of coding and software. Right now, what I'm showing you guys, no code and then connecting it with code. How fast I'm able to build software. In software, value is, it's funny. My wife's a graphic designer, so when she makes logos and stuff, people don't want her to use AI, and they don't want it done super fast because they want the human touch and they want it to be perfect, and the value is how beautiful it comes from the human, and it needs to be long-term and drawn out, and that's fine. However, with software development, speed is beautiful. If I could whip up a full software in seconds, my client's like, wow, that's amazing. Take my money. Like, that becomes valuable. So speed is value in software building. So check out this. I have a login. And now all of a sudden, check out this. We are redirected to the inside of the software. How amazing. And check this out. You see right here, it's a setup. Now we're inside of our software, set up our first trained. Hello, Jeffrey. It welcomes me by name. It's connected to my Xano account. How is it doing this? Well, let me show you. Inside here, I'm going to go right into my little dashboard, the agency dashboard, and I'm going to show you guys this. Remember, I'm pulling the information from Xano. So if I go into workflows, I'm actually managing users right here. So you see right here where it says when, these two whens. So it says when the page is loaded. So it says when this page is loaded and user authentication is empty. So that means if their authentication key is empty, if they're not signed in, kick them out and go to this page. If it's not empty, authorize them and then make changes and then save all their information right here into it. So this temporary saves their information while they're logged in on my page. And now I'm able to reference their Xano account by these two operations, just this. I could reference their API key for OpenAI and it stores it safely in their database over on Xano. And I could also reference their account in Xano. And now inside here, now check out the design. I am custom coding this entire software inside my AI team. The entire thing, right? If I go into the AI snippets, right? And I go to the AI snippets, every single one of these, right? You could see every single one of these. I wouldn't say all of it. 90% of this I'm coding up inside my AI team, okay? So I have this entire process where I have this onboarding, right? This is the onboarder. I created this 8 days ago. You guys see this where it says 8 days ago. All right, this is the onboarder. Set up your first thing. This is all the history of me going back and forth with the AI, telling it to update this whole thing. This is it. I'm going back and forth, telling it to stylize this, to make the updates, to make it clean. And here's the code. This is the entire code. This is 354 lines of code that I coded up in my AI team. All right, and then now what we do is we take this and I hit copy, right? Copy the code. And I come over to Bubble. And inside Bubble, here's the thing. Bubble has a couple different things. I'm managing the pages, right? So internally, there's different pages. So if I actually hit preview this software, there's different pages right here. So if you see where it says like set up bot, chat, manage things. Well, if I click this, it's not leaving the software. You see that? Like I'm actually on the same, in the software still. Like I'm not going to a different page. I'm in the software. Well, how am I doing that? That's why I'm using Bubble, is because when I click these little tabs, you see how it says edit workflow? Well, edit workflow, it says when this item is clicked, set this page. And it sets the page value to setup. That's it. And then now if I go into design, I could go down here and I could go to my layers. And you see how it has all these like setup thing? Well, this is my setup page. So this is just a group and I embedded HTML inside. So on this little setup tab, if I go to conditions, it says layout. It says this one is always hidden. So it's all collapsed when hidden and it's not visible on page load. And if I go to conditional, it says this element is visible, positive, check, whenever it's page setup. That's it. That's how I'm managing all of my little internal tools. You see how I built a whole bunch of things inside my AI team and I added those codes into the HTML widget inside Bubble, right? So now inside this bubble right here, this appearance, I pass in my entire HTML widget that was coded up in my AI team, the entire thing. Well, if I scroll down, well, here's what's really, really awesome. I could pass data in. So you see right here, I could actually edit this. I could edit the actual stuff. And it says current users OpenAI API key. So I'm actually passing data in from the behind the scenes into my HTML. So that's how I'm able to welcome people by name. because I'm passing in their Xano information from the back, and I'm saying, look how simple this is. Okay, I scroll down. This is the onboarding process, and it says, hello, first name, welcome to ChatBridge. Right? Well, if I refresh this and go to the dashboard, it says, hello, Jeffrey Caldwell, welcome to ChatBridge. And it welcomes me by name. So look at this full software. You guys are able to see this full thing that I built, the whole entire process. They haven't seen this new part, that they haven't seen everything put together yet, right? So we have this welcome thing. It welcomes us. They put together a little welcome video that says, hey, congratulations for getting ChatBridge. Here's your next steps. And then you're able to click get started. And then you're able to insert in your API key. We have click here to get your open API key. And then there's a little video on how to get it, because this passes in their API key. So the user is charged, not the software developer, software owner. So now there's no cost for them to use, somebody else to use this software for the owner, besides hosting Bubble, which is $32 a month. Xano, which is up to, right now they're on free version, but it's up to $100 a month with their max plan. And then from here, they have their sales process, which they use Go High Level. So basically they're running their whole business for almost a fixed cost, about $400 a month, to host and run this whole entire custom software that they got built. And so far they've only paid $3,000. I would say they're gonna, that's why I'm pushing so fast to get customers with this, is because I want them to be able to stick around for a long time and become a full software. So next, they're going to be able to save the API key, and then it says congratulations. It says click on setup bot and some instructions, and then there's also community recipes, which I'm going to show you guys in a few seconds because they haven't seen that part. Then they could celebrate, yay, right? And then they get their free onboarding call. Then they could book an onboarding call with a ChatBridge specialist to be able to help set up their AI bots. I just want to let you guys know, my highest paying clients came from these demo calls right here, ever. Because guess what? Frank Kern, one of my favorite marketers, his saying is, show people what you could do, and they'll eventually hire you to do what you could do. That's it. Tell people you can do awesome things, show them that you can do the awesome thing, and then they're going to hire you to do the awesome thing. That's it. That's how you get customers, okay? And so essentially this process is them coming in and be like, wow, look at this software. Okay, I could set up a custom bot, and also this is an opportunity to sell them into higher ticket products, right? On here, they're going to be able to select a time. Here, they haven't fully set up their questions, but they're going to add on questions on this little onboarding call. They're going to add questions of, do you want a custom software built? Do you want a bot built? What do you want a bot for? You know, like all of these questions to lead them into higher ticket products. Okay. So understand, your software doesn't have to be how you make your millions. Your software could be a lead magnet into your other products, and then you make more money from those other products. Okay. So this is how they make money into their high ticket product, is this onboarding call into all this. They could literally give this software for free, and this is going to provide them sales. Okay. So don't think short-sighted, think long-term inside your business of how you could get a client. Okay. So now they have, once you have this, now you're going to be able to set up a bot. All right. So you could actually set up a bot, and you could set up create your assistant. Okay. So I could say, I want to create a My AI Team assistant. Okay. My AI Team copywriter. Right. So writer. All right. And I'm just going to say a simple description there, and it's just going to say instructions for the assistant. So I could actually add all my instructions of what it is, right? So you are a world-class copywriter for My AI Team. Make sure you reference your docs before answering 100%. All right. And then you could pick your models, right? So there's different models that you could pick. You could pick your temperature, go to next. Now you could scrape a website. So here's what's really, really cool. You could scrape a website with this, but you could scrape multiple websites. So if you have another website where like a competitor or something else, or you have multiple different sites that you want to add into this, you could scrape multiple different content and check boxes of say, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one, right? And so I could view the content. Here's all my content from this page. If I want this content, this has no content. Do I want that? No, I don't. But do I want this one? Yeah, I do. So you could use this to get all your content. You could see it's scraping multiple different sites, and then you could add them together, right? My wife's use case, she wants to scrape multiple competitor site and merge them in together. This whole snippet, just like this other dashboard snippet, was created in my AI team. Every single thing. However, what I'm doing behind the scenes is, you see right here how it says bot setup? I'm embedding that entire custom code right inside this thing. All right, so literally that's HTML, and then I'm passing in the values, right? You see how it says constant API key for the user? I'm passing in those variables for the user. So now it's super easy for me to connect my HTML to my front end. You could pass in the bubble data to your HTML magically, super easy. So now I'm connecting the front end to the back end right in Bubble, but I have it where I could have everything as a page. After this, you could scrape a website, right? I could have all of these. I could check which ones, right? I could add selected page content to AI. And here's what's amazing. Now we could upload even more content if you have any text files or PDFs or anything, and then we could create assistant. Then this creates the assistant, and then we could chat with this. All right, I'm going to refresh this because I should probably add a refresh button. Right, now we could see over here, we have our chats, right? I have my AI team writer. Well, here's what's cool is I could literally say hello. And I could literally chat with the bot that I just created. And I could say, who owns this? Who owns this company? Right? And you could see it actually has knowledge and data of my information. All right, and we're able to go back and forth with the bot. Well, here's what's really phenomenal with this software is this is really cool, because if you know how to like scrape the data, or if you know how, I probably need to update this. Okay, so if you know how to scrape the data, it's great. Well, this is what they also wanted. They wanted to be able to add custom forms. So now you could create like custom forms, and you could have like it really easy for somebody else that doesn't know how to write an amazing system prompt to be able to have a really an effective software or effective chatbot. So here's what they asked. They wanted to be able to create a custom chatbot instruction builder. So I'm going to build this, and I'm going to add these little pages into their software right now. Right, we're on the call. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Inside this part right here, I'm going to come in here, and you see how it says file storage. I'm going to just simply what I'm going to simply do. I'm going to right click this, okay, and I'm going to copy. And I'm just going to duplicate it. I'm just going to paste again, right? Because it already kind of has the same functionality, right? And I'm going to name it, and I'm going to say, advanced. Let's see let's see, recipe creator. I think that's what we'll figure out what they want to call it. But this is what I'm going to call it right now. And then I could add a different icon to this. Okay, so I could add an icon. Let's see, add an icon. Information circle. I kind of like that one. We'll stick with that one right now. Okay, recipe creator. And here's what I could do is this actually can have, if you see right here, I could hit edit workflow, and I could see what this one does, right? So it says item 4, when clicked, it sets the page state to this value. Well, I could right click this, and I could hit copy. And I just want to show you guys what this actually is doing, okay? So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to hit add workflow. And in here, we could actually, instead of saving stuff to data, set state is just a temporary thing, right? It's not saving to the database. It's not doing anything. It's just setting a state. So I'm going to set the state, and you can see I have the agency dashboard, and I created a state called pages. Well, inside here, I could just simply make it where I could have different pages inside here. Well, I created a little like option group for my pages. Well, here's what's interesting is right now I don't have that little new one. So I need to, if I refresh this, you could see it has this new one instantly added, but it doesn't do anything, right? It's just called a recipe creator. Well, if I go into my data and it has little option sets, I could add a new pages, and I'm going to add a new page, recipe creator. And I'm also going to add community recipes. Okay, so community recipes, because they have a whole community area that you could make recipes, and then you could use other people's public recipes. All right, and I'm going to show, we're going to add that too. All right, and so I'm going to go in here into the design.
Are we cooking meals now?
Oh yeah. All right. So maybe AI recipe is not the greatest, huh? That probably sounds interesting. So I'm going to say custom instructions. I don't know what would this. So custom bot. I wonder what we should call this. Actually, I have an idea. I'm going to ask the AI what I should call this. What should I name this tab on my software? Give me 4 options. All right, so this is the chat part, right? You're able to chat with it. So I love it that it references my code, because sometimes I don't know and I would be stuck on this, right? And it just simply ChatBridge Builder, custom AI assistant, AI recipe creator. Okay, so look, it used AI recipe creator too. All right. So I'm gonna go with AI recipe creator, and I will update that little page name. Okay, so data, and then AI recipe creator, AI community recipes. All right, recipes with an S. All right, cool. All right, so now we have 2 of those, and here's what I could do is if I go into the workflows. All right, so remember, whenever you want something to work in Bubble, like you want something to make happen, right? You edit workflows, and then it's going to go to these backend, right? And now I could say edit what happens when it does this. So now it's going to go here, and it's going to be able to pick my state of my page. And then I'm going to say recipe creator. That's my state, okay? And that's it. So now when I click that button, it sets that state. Well, why does that matter? All right, well, here's what we can do now is if you guys see how I build my main layers. Well, in my main layer, this is really the whole software, right? These little layers right here in this main container. So here's what I'm going to do is all of these little pages are just embedded HTML. So I'm going to copy one. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste, right? I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm going to show you what this does behind the scenes. So you see where it says now storage copy? Well, it has inside the storage copy, I'm going to name this the AI recipe creator, right? So I want the AI recipe creator. Nice. So I'm going to grab right here, and I'm going to name this AI recipe creator. And then it says, if we do conditional, how does this be visible, right? If we look at the layout, right now it says this element is visible on page load and it's not checked. Well, if I go to conditional, it says when agency page is storage, I'm just going to switch this to recipe creator. And that makes it visible now. That literally sets that condition so it's visible. So now when I click that little button, it's going to show this HTML. Well, let's switch out this HTML to be the actual form that they're going to use. All right, so I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to view code, and I'm going to copy this code. That's it. Copy in the code. And now watch this. I'm going to go over here into the appearance. I'm going to right-click it, and I'm going to clear all because I don't really want what's in there, and I'm going to paste. That's it. And you see how it just embedded my entire software in there? Like, literally instantly. So now if I go back into here, On the left-hand side, we have AI recipe creator. We have our setup, bots, chats, AI recipe creator, and now we have this little chat bridge thing. And now you see how it kind of messed up the font and the styling and all this stuff. I'm not gonna lie, that has been a very common problem for me back and forth when I'm building this. It drives me nuts. I'm like, bro, stop it. And so sometimes you literally have to tell it, right? Like when I embed this into bubble .io, it messes up the formatting and makes the background. Look at all these. You don't have, oh my God. So here's what I'm gonna do. I could just spell it out, right? Makes the background not the same color, right? Please fix 100%. My friends are watching. All right. My friends are watching. All right. Okay. All right. So, and then you hit generate. Okay. So this is how you update the software. If you get an error, it doesn't work. I'm not joking. I spent all night working on this, trying to go back and forth and get it to work perfectly. And it happens. Okay. So if you hit a bug and it doesn't look perfect, don't be shy. Don't be scared. Like, oh no. All right. It will work through. All right. So here's what we do in this next part, while that's loading. Sometimes it loads. I'm not going to sit there and wait for it to load all the time. I'm going to go do other things while it's loading. Okay. So in here, we're going to have, we can adjust these little like formatting too. Maybe that might matter. I don't know if that little like horizontal lining matters. All right. So here's what I'm going to do is this little recipe creator is I'm going to duplicate it again. Right. So copy, and I'm going to hit paste. Right. So paste again, and I'm going to hit, this is going to be that community one. Right. So we actually want it to be the data option sets, AI community recipes. Perfect. All right. So we actually want this one to be another one. Right. So we want to have here, and same thing, conditionals. We want to adjust this to where it's actually the AI community recipes. And that part's done. So now whenever we have the new tab, I'm going to add a new tab up here. Boom. I can hit duplicate, right? Which is Control D, and it just duplicates it, right? And now I could make it where I could actually, so look, I actually have it when these things on the back end, whenever these are selected, it's also like highlights it, okay? On the buttons, okay? So on the button, I just adjust that too. Boom. Okay, so now when you click on this, same thing. Well, what does this one do, right? We could edit the workflow, and I could see that this one essentially opened the page dashboard and set it like this. Well, if I click on this one, I kind of want it to do the same thing, but just open it into the other tab. So I'm going to hit paste, set it to where it actually goes to the AI community recipes. Okay, and let's see if this update is done. So I'm going to go to this form. We have here, I'm not saying it works every time, so don't judge me if it doesn't work. All right, but if we'll go into the design, we now have our recipe creator. I could embed my new code that I updated. And also check out this. I have the marketplace. They wanted the ability to, whenever you create these forms, here's what's really amazing. Whenever you create these forms, it basically, you can create this behind the scenes, really amazing instructions. And then you can have variables, would have the questions and all of this stuff, right? So it's super easy to create a bot, but without having to like be super technical with it, right? So what does that mean, right? So they wanted the ability to have all of these forms in like a marketplace, right? So I'm going to copy this code, view code, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to add my marketplace right into the code, right? So I'm going to community recipes, this one, let's see, HTML. I'm going to clear all the HTML, and I'm going to paste in my new HTML. That's it. So I build it in my AI team, and I bring it over here. All right. Well, now I want make sure my community recipes adjusts when it is there. Done. Super simple. Hide it. Rocket. Preview. Let's check it out. All right. So now we have the recipe creator, and I haven't changed the name of this one, right? But here is the recipe chatbot. You can see it didn't fix my little code, so I'm still going to have to go back and forth with the AI to fix that. And then the AI recipe creator, these assistants. Oh, look at that loading assistant. What? That is so cool. Like, that's really cool. All right. All right. So then it has our assistants, which I'm going to have to make sure works also. Okay. So here is what's really cool. When you have the assistants, this is what it looks like when I build it in my AI team. You can see I can do like a cool search. You can see, boom, it does a little fast search. I have public ones, which are all these, the public ones, the one that are edit are the ones that I own myself. And then I could also show just mine, right? So I could hide this where it's just my custom assistants. And then at any time I can hit create assistant. From there, it makes a little pop-up and it says what's your channel about, what's your channel name, all this stuff, which is what the form helped us set up. Okay. So you can see what it looks like for the user. It's super easy for them to come in here and be like, oh, I really need a YouTube bot. And they could search up YouTube and then they can hit create assistant. And then that's going to hit create assistant. They're going to be able to add all their channel name. They're going to be able to add their information, everything about their assistant. And then whenever they hit a create assistant, it instantly creates them an assistant, which they can now chat with. All right. So here is my YouTube chat master. All right. My YouTube master. Here's what's really cool. In here, I took my prompt that I write from my AI team and I basically transcribed my video. All right. I basically transcribed my video that we did on our call last week when I was connecting to Xano. All right. And if I go in here, you see how it says Xano database video. All right. I transcribed that whole video in my AI team and I'm going to copy that whole thing. Boom, copy. Look how long. That was like an hour and 34-minute long video of me talking the whole time and you back and forth with you guys. Right. And I hit copy that whole thing. And then I go into their software and I could chat with it. And now check this out. I could say, make me a YouTube listing for this. And then inside here, behind the scenes, my AI bot, look at all this. Boom, look at all that text. Oh, that is huge. And then down here, the AI is down here processing it. Okay. So the AI is now loading it. And inside here, it has my custom prompt. It basically has my giant prompt behind the scenes that is going to tell the AI what to do behind the scenes. Hopefully it works. All right. It worked last night, I swear. All right. So cool. Check this out. So literally it just spit out the entire thing that says, sure thing, let's optimize this as a YouTube listing. It created refine the target audience. So here's all the people that are software developers, entrepreneurs interested in SaaS, tech enthusiasts, startups, IT professionals, marketers in tech, AI enthusiasts, web developers. Like it actually went through and said, these are the best people to sell your product to in that video. Then it gives me the research and lists me the top 10 keywords that I should focus on. AI software developer being the number one. Then the next thing it says, craft a compelling video title. Revolutionary software developer using AI and no-code tools to launch your SaaS MVP. That's a phenomenal title. If you guys saw my replay that I put up, it's not nearly as good as this. And then check out this. Welcome to an in-depth video of transforming your software development and processing. Join industry experts Austin, Troy, Julia, Isaac, and Joey. What up, guys? As they deep dive into a revolutionary method of creating and deploying software. It pulled your name from this and added it to this. Like all of this software is built inside my AI team in Bubble. Okay. And then now it's deployed with a client. They're about ready to pay their next second invoice. They're almost 30 days into the software. And this is what we've built so far for them, all building it into these two tools. All right. So you can see all of this. It looks great. No code software, suggesting a thumbnail. Beautiful. All right. Recommended collaborations, all of this stuff. And I could go back and forth and I could say, make in Spanish. Okay. And the AI will make in Spanish. All right. And so it references what you're talking about, everything right inside here. So this is the full software that we're building for the client, all built into this. All right. I could have it in here. I could manage my bots. You can see I could view details. I could do all of this. I could actually modify the assistant, and I could even select a vector store. So if I want this updated code, I could even update it to, I can have switch. The vector store is switching the brain of the AI. So if I wanted to know about my AI team, I could literally just click it, my AI team vector store. And now this is going to have all the data of my AI team right inside this, all of it. Or I could update it at any time. Inside here, we can also upload our files. We could manage our files. We could manage the vector store. If you guys see right here, it shows the percentage of usage of your storage. OpenAI starts to charge you after a while if you store too much things on their site. No worries. I gave you the ability to update and delete and manage all that stuff and see it. Once you hit 100%, they're going to start charging you. So you should know how much percentage is, because that's in really fine writing. But the AI saw that it does that, and it wrote the code to make sure it manages that for you. So this whole entire software, like I said, is completely, this part I just got to figure out why it's not working, which is all right. We'll get it working. That's part of the journey, because I just added this feature last night. I built this whole little form builder last night for them. And the ability to have assistants and the ability to search and have private and all this stuff. When you go into Xano, if I go into Xano, this is saving into the Xano database, right? And I'm saving the entire, I'm saving this entire data. If I go into custom recipes, here's what's cool. These are the data that it's saving when you create the form. If I click on one of these forms, this is the entire, go to this one. This is the entire form that I'm saving as data inside Xano. So you can even save dynamic JSON data, which if doesn't make sense right now, that's all right. In the future, this might make sense that you could save dynamic JSON data to Xano. Well, I'm pulling back that dynamic JSON data and displaying it as these custom assistants and all this. Well, check out this. This is the new, I haven't added this new update, but this is what the new dashboard looks like. Right? So their dashboard looks a lot better. The scroll doesn't last forever. They could add folders, and they could say my AI team, and they're going to be able to have folders. They're going to be able to add and move chats to certain folders. And then they're going to be able to have all of this. It's going to be super clean, right? Absolutely clean for them. So they're able to use this, right? Well, all of this, like I said, is built. And once they keep wanting more features, literally today, they said, hey, we don't see a way that we could add white labels yet. Can we add white label soon? The ability to white label? Sure. That's perfect. Because usually when they're going to have white label, all it's going to do is, if you have a white label account, show this button. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. If you have a white label account, show the button. If you don't have a white label account, don't show the button. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to make this little title, update that. Bam, community recipes, make this a different icon. Community, command line, I don't know what that looks like, but let's check. I don't see that at all. All right. Gift. Probably looking a little cool. All right. Okay, so this is how you kind of put it all together as a software. The next thing that probably by Tuesday that you guys are going to be seeing me build is the sales process of connecting Go high level purchasing and making it where whenever they purchase one of their products, it goes into the database and saves it in Xano and shows their account based off their usage, right? All of that stuff, right? This looks cool. AI Community Recipes has a little gift on it. I love it. And I'm going to figure out why this isn't working soon. All right. What do you guys got? Any questions for me on how this whole process is set up? Do you guys see that how easy it is to set up in Bubble? What do you guys think?
I love it. I think it's great. It gives me ideas, but that's down a whole nother rabbit hole. But you kind of touched into it, I guess, because I was kind of curious. You're building this you use AI to code, and then I was curious as to how AI would decipher the code, the usage, and the target market from the code alone, right? So we use our head to get it to build the code, but I'm curious how it as an AI would see the code. And in a way, I felt like he's kind of hinted, got tickled that with that whole YouTube transcription thing. It was able to pull words that we use, which could essentially be what our prompts would be. But yeah, have you ever attempted to see how it would translate or pull AI and put it into real words or pain points or solutions? Make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. So here's what's cool is right here where if you highlight this button, it says chat with code. So this is actually, whenever you hit this chat, it's actually referencing this chat, like the code itself.
Right.
Like I'm literally passing in behind the scene the entire code for you. So now when you chat with this, and now I could say, I need help coming up with who to sell this to. Okay. Can you give me some ideas and also some posts on Facebook to get people interested?
Yeah, that was the other place that
now
where you kind of tickled that, because I was going, gosh, you can just ask it, hey, look, I built this for, realtors. Is this really the best solution, or do you have recommendations of other professionals that might benefit from this code or this program?
100%.
Yeah, that's
right. So now, right. So this references basically, here's our target market. Here's people that could possibly use this. And then here's some posts that are dedicated to these people itself. So it writes it based off of this entire thing, right? General interest. Ever wish you could clone yourself to handle all your tasks? With ChatBridge, you could create an AI version of yourself. Build a custom chat bot that thinks and responds like you. Like,
yeah. The other thing I thought of, and I think you this was in a previous class, and it's basically how to pull the code from other sites. And so let's say there was something that was specific to a certain industry. Let's just stick with realtors. There's some site, and you go, hey, I really like this site, but it's for realtors. Can you change this code for SaaS developers and build a similar website? So
yeah, 1000%. And just that alone, Troy, is probably a full software.
Yeah,
like people want that software to be able to do that thing. Like they have a site that they want, but they just want to write it in their own, and that could be a whole little software that you build and create for them.
Right.
Or you could use it in something like this, where it's like the little chat, and essentially I could say, hey, here's my X thing, here's my copy from my site, or here's this, rewrite it for this, and you just chat with it inside a software like their chatbot software.
Yeah.
Right. Or my AI team. However, those little tools that you're talking about, that's a whole software that someone would gladly love to use.
Yeah, and then my mind goes into the snippets, and what I'm really thinking is, all of these being separate little, almost maybe it's a simplified bubble.io, right? So you build out these simple commands, and then you sell them as a bundle. So, like here's a template command here, a template here, a template here, snip it all together to build these sites. So that's kind of the direction I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think last we were talking about like deal.flow or deal.ai or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's like a software that allows you to kind of build. You see how I added these little tabs and I embedded something? I mean, that might be a software that is a software within itself. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like that might be a, hey, like if you want to build AI software and this is what you want to do, this is how we could do it, you know, and boom, you know, and then we could plop them right in here, and then magically it's all embedded like this, and then all you have to do is add this, and then it magically populates, pick the icon, and it picks what page it is, you know. So I'm sure that whole software, maybe one day I build that software so we could have these AI software like that super fast, because my AI team is exactly that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you click the code snippets, I could embed this code snippet feature page right here. I could make it where it goes to the code snippet builder. You know what I mean? Like, I could essentially do all of that right in here. And I think that it's probably a really interesting and cool idea for us to own it.
No,
Something like that.
it's definitely the way the what I'm seeing, the direction, but I didn't want to kind of complicate or confuse anything that you just taught us, because this is brilliant. I mean, I've always thought about software development, of course, you know, it's nice to know. And then when you say that you weren't even a developer, you just kind of learned about Bubble and taught yourself with YouTube. I mean, it's amazing. It's really cool.
100% for YouTube. Like, literally, like, if you get like, here's the thing is there, if you go to Bubble and just type in Bubble for beginners, there's a 3 to 4 hour class by some lady, right? And just watch that whole thing. It's like called, you know, no code tools. And that whole thing is going to teach you everything you need to know about Bubble. I mean, like, and then from there, if you ever get stuck and you're like, how do I do this thing? One, you guys could ask on these calls, or two is you just go to YouTube and type in how to do that thing, because they're not teaching, like, think about this. They're not necessarily teaching Bubble in college, because they're going to try teaching traditional development because it's like what's been in practice for whatever, for a long time. It's not to say that they shouldn't teach Bubble. However, Bubble's like a fairly new tool in the last 5-10 years. So it's not like it's in the curriculum of the place. So the place to learn it is live on the internet. Like, YouTube is live. Go to there, research those things. How do I do this? How do I do this part in Bubble? And there's some video that somebody's teaching you how to do it. So you're going to figure out how to get through that process, and launching things on there is really easy, right? So like I said, it took 2 weeks to get my first $1,000 paying customer with Bubble in my AI team. Literally, if you guys go, the documents, this was what it was called. It was the documents. This was all that was in here. The documents, nothing else. The dashboard and documents. And then you'd go in the documents and you'd be able to create a document. And then guess what? You'd be able to do all of these little frameworks, right? Full blogs, blog ideas, right? Like blog titles, all of these things. Somebody said, hey, could it do full blogs? And I said, yeah, sure. Like AI text to code, right? And then generate full blog. Yeah, I could do full blogs. And all he wanted it to do was write entire full blogs with the AI in one little input block. That's it. And he was willing to pay $1,000. Bet. I made the feature. I added it to him. I showed him this little, look, doing AI things. Please wait. And then in a few seconds, AI text code, right? In a few seconds, it's going to write a full blog for us. This was the $1,000 feature that I launched. Here's what's crazy. That day that he purchased the $1,000, he told 10 of his friends, and they all purchased for $1,000. In the first 2 weeks, I made $11,000 with my software because of that. And look, here's AI text code, revolutionizing it. Boom. The rise in AI text generation. Boom. Content creation. This full blog is done for me in a few seconds. I showed him it. He said, I'm in. I'll buy it. And then he told his friends, because he wrote SEO blogs and that's how he made his money. And then he had a software that he could promote. Super easy. That was it. Well, over time, my AI team has definitely grown. Right now we have documents, and then everyone said, hey, could it do this? Can it do this? Can it do this? So I said, yeah, I could do headlines. Yeah, I could do Facebook ads. Yeah, I could do emails. Yeah, I could do this. And yeah, I could do this. And then I was like, then they started asking about business plans. And I was like, dude, this is too much. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make it where you can build your own custom commands. And now there's a custom command generator, and we have people that are creating sci-fi stories for autistic people. We have people that are creating, like all of these things, and there's a whole custom command builder.
That
All-
says autasmic. Was that supposed to be orgasmic or automatic?
Autistic, yeah. I think I think that he has a niece that's autistic, and
Oh.
so yeah, they write autistic stories, and it's
Oh,
kinda
I
cool.
see. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, and so there's tons of these, right? There's grant writers, there's video scripts, there's ask the AI about how you can improve your life for humans, right? Like there's Austin right here making newsletter generators, right? Like there's so much in here because I didn't want to sit here and add all these things. So now I made it where the users could do it, right? And so then you could use those custom commands in the chat, and now there's an AI chat, and it's you can continue to build software over time. It just continues to grow. Okay, so just knowing the basics of how to do this stuff, well, now I'm way faster. I could build software 10 times faster than I did before, right? And so learning how to build over time and getting better and growing and all that stuff. Okay, so just start with the basics, right? Like, hey, I just want to learn how to set up a login today. That's it. Don't push yourself. A login, and then you see this little button right here. That's the sign out button. Make that work. That's it. Log in, sign in, sign out. Make those whole features in your software. And if you could do those basics, like that's so much work. Most people will are too scared to try it, and they think it's so hard that they won't even attempt it. I dare you to attempt it and do something with it. Make a login screen. In the future, I'm just going to give you guys a template with this. How easy for in the future. Don't just sit there on your hands and feet and just wait and be like, oh man, in the future I'm going to build and Jeff's going to give us an easy template. Right now, the template becomes valuable in the future, but I'm going to sell it because these things, how much more time does it save if you just have to plop it in and plug it? Well, I encourage you to build your own. Inside Bubble, if you go inside the Bubble, they have an app marketplace. You could actually buy apps, templates in their marketplace right here. So it would be smart of you to learn how to build the base. What? Yeah. What you got? What you got?
Hey, in
What up,
your
Joey?
custom command section on my, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yep.
I hear you, Joey.
Oh, okay. Now, Jeff, inside of the custom commands inside of my AI team, the one where you can type in a musician and get all the genres that musician sounds like, those genres, you know what I'm talking about? Is there a way that you can inside there add a select all or a copy all button or like something where I can just copy that and instead of having to select all that and then copy it and paste it? Or is that like a bubble thing?
Like you just want like a one button to click it and then it copies the whole output?
Yeah, because I always I'm building like a database of like all these different musicians and what their all their alternate genres and the information that generates. So I have to select all of it each time and copy and paste it. I didn't know if there was a select all copy if you can even do that in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I'll update.
Or maybe you could add when I used to work at this job, like a document suggestion site for my AI team where I could submit people could submit like a suggestion for my AI team suggestions.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. I definitely could do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So then we could see all the suggestions, maybe even upvote them, all that stuff, and it's inside there. That'd be cool. So yeah, I think that's really cool. That I could do that. So definitely. So yeah, so here's what's cool is over time your users ask for updates. Not only do your customers ask for your clients if you sell software to your user like clients and you take on clients, but your users ask for updates. And so think about it is if you take on clients, their users are going to ask for your updates. And they're going to say, hey, I want this update. And they're going to have to hire you as the dev to keep in business, to keep those updates coming. So it's one of those things is development over time becomes a job like that you're building yourself into. You're able to charge more. Continue to increase your price because you only have 24 hours. So you need to start increasing your price as you get clients and stuff. So, and I highly encourage you guys, like, outsource a lot of this work. You see how I'm outsourcing it to AI right now? I hope that soon some of you guys start rising up and like building your own software. So then whenever I have a next job, and I could say, I have 3 people that can build my software for me that I don't have to worry about teaching them the basics. I'm almost trying to create this internship program that I put all my knowledge out, and then whoever's willing to listen, thank you guys for keep showing up, because I hope that this type of, we have like a dev agency within a year where we're not talking about the basics. We're talking about, this is the software I launched. This is what we're doing. This is now how we're scaling these softwares. Hey, Joey just launched and sold a software for $100,000. You know what I mean? Because I see that that's what's possible with these. You're able to build these softwares, get them up where they're creating reoccurring revenue, and then you're able to sell them. Like, people will buy these softwares. There's websites, micro SaaS software, it's called acquire.com, right? And microacquire.com. And then flippa.com, right? If I go to flippa.com, right? Flippa.com. Right? Flippa is a website that you could buy and sell software and websites that are already built. Right? You see how it says trending? SaaS is trending. Right? So if I search in SaaS, it's going to pull back all of the softwares. So there's Flippa, and then there's Micro Acquire, and then there's acquire.com. Those are some good ones. So these are already pre-built sites that are up and running, that are created. Look at this. A legendary analytics platform that helps business understand conversion behavior. $5 million. They're net profiting $17,000 a month, and they're selling it for $5 million. They're making $7,000, and they're selling it for 23% profit.
I love
That's
this
insane.
idea. Yeah, I love this idea because, you know, it's almost like microbreweries getting bought up for the big breweries. A lot of people, you know, dream so big, which is great, but to the extent that, you know, it allows, I mean, kind of like ClickFunnels and Go High Level. I mean, it leaves room. Just because you're the first there doesn't mean you're going to stay at the first. So, you know, a quick growth and quick exit is oftentimes a good idea, and just move on to the next thing you want to build. With this, an idea, can you scrape this and then see have AI pick out niches that maybe are not being, you know, the best opportunities not being sold on it right now, to kind of give you some ideas, like, rather than to use the blue ocean strategy rather than, you know, swim in a red ocean.
Yeah, 1000%. You might literally, there's people that buy businesses on a regular basis. You might scrape this every day. You might combine those 3 sites that we just talked about and scrape them every other day, and then provide a dashboard that people can go in there and see all of those companies. And then you combine that dashboard with a chat feature, so you could have instantly ask questions about the entire database.
But I'm just saying, so here's what I'm thinking. How would I, or how would you take this site to find out the best opportunity for where we can build SaaS using my AI team?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
like basically where to focus. So would you scrape this, and then what prompts or questions would you ask it?
I mean, I would scrape this, but I would also just scrolling through it and like kind of seeing what's selling already. So you can see right here, what I love about this is these have to be verified. You see how it says verified listing? That means that number is real and that asking price is real too.
Right.
Well, that means this profit, if I could figure out what this is an analytics platform to help business understand customer behavior. That might be too hard for me to build, so I could keep scrolling, or I might not be interested in that. Well, I could keep looking and I could see like, wow, this one's for $1 million. This says award-winning 10-year-old sports data and analytics platform for football and soccer.
Right.
Crazy.
But I mean,
$30 a month.
rather than spend all that time scrolling through this and then reading through, because the title doesn't always match, you know, the description or what they're trying to get. What will the scraper you created scrape those definitions and those titles? Will it scrape enough that we could ask it for, you know, the AI to find a space that's not being focused on that we could focus on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know 100% sure if my scraper would scrape this, because sometimes it's loaded by JavaScript. And then also you see how it says like there's multiple listings of this. However, what I would do is I would go to Flippa Scraper API and I would type that into Google. And then you could see there's things. Look at this. This says a Flippa Scrape. This is a little like code that you could go on the internet and you could grab. Right? So this is from GitHub, and it looks like it might scrape Flippa. I don't know, but you could probably read this and see. But there's also like,
can we just try yours real quick, or does that only scrape a select data?
yeah, it only selects certain ones. It does only select certain ones, and I know that Flippa does it because I've kind of tried some of those.
Okay.
So some of them don't because they have JavaScript where they load. So you see how it has the repeating data. You actually will. If I go to inspect into this data, you would actually want to create a custom scraper just to pull back the data that it's sending. Okay. So because it actually is sending back a certain amount of data, and you could save that data. You see how it says this post and it has all this request? You could grab it and you could build a custom scraper just for this site, which is probably the better way to do it. And then it's going to basically pull back all of just that information.
Yeah, or just scroll through.
Yeah. So
just hit the select on the side and find it. So,
and now that's kind of like if you wanted to do this where you wanted to do it on a regular basis and then you scraped it and then that was valuable, you might offer that as a service, because you see how it wasn't just easy for me to find this. And I know my scraper won't do it. You know what I mean? So there are different ways to like, okay, well, how do I go do this? How do I, get around to this? Well, you might offer that to other people where it's like, hey, look, this scrapes Flippa data, and then you build a dashboard to actually process that data. And that just streamlines that process. That's a software, Troy. Like, I know people that buy businesses that legit would want that as a full software. However,
where would you find you? Just because you're the man. Where would you go to find what people are looking for SaaS, like trending? What's most popular besides just in your head and from experience? Is there a chat room, or do you go to Reddit? You search a certain way to find out. I'm just trying to look for that blue ocean strategy with what you've built. I mean, we could just be that micro SaaS brewery that just kind of kicks out this stuff and sells it and lets other people run with it.
Yeah. I mean, I would look two places. So I would look on Flippa, and Flippa would kind of help me, guide me of what is people are looking for to actually create the things that are selling monthly basis, high profit, and actually selling good. Well, those are softwares that I know that are making money. Like, people are already buying those. The other place that I would check is based.
Yeah.
I think Jeff froze.
Yeah, I think so. Kind of cut out, Jeff. I'm gonna look. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna go to Perplexity and say, what are trending SaaS wants and needs currently?
Nice.
See what it says. AR collaboration software, vertical SaaS, low no code development, consumption based pricing models, cybersecurity, custom segmentation and personalization, platform as a service. I didn't read the details, but
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, I think
is Jeff off?
one
I-
idea.
oh, there you
Looks like Jeff is off.
Yeah.
Oh, he joined.
Cool.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah. All right, guys. So
Good
essentially,
day.
yeah, Perplexity is a good option too, where essentially Perplexity is live AI chat or search, right? So here's what's cool is Perplexity even has an AI API. So you could connect Perplexity into your own softwares. And now you could connect Flippa that searches Perplexity. You know what I mean? Like you could do a whole bunch where you're connecting multiple sites like that. So there you
Yeah,
go.
that's what I had just searched.
Nice.
And that's
I wanted to. Jeff, can I share my my little web scraper I built?
Yeah, let's see. You built a web scraper? Let's go, man.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Let's see that now. And let's see. Can you see my screen?
there it is.
Oh,
You
nice.
see my screen?
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So
What?
with this, it allows you to download the PDF, and that PDF comes valuable when you're creating your own custom GPTs. So I can take the PDF, upload it to my custom GPT, and for example, for this question, I would probably use this scraper that I built, scrape Flippa, take the PDF, go to ChatGPT, build a custom GPT, add that information there. I would then possibly scrape internet. What is it called? Internet wayback.org or something like that, where
Oh, yeah.
it could basically take a couple of months worth of, because you don't want the entire history, it'd be a lot. Take a couple months of internet wayback history of Flippa, and then download that into a PDF, go into the custom GPT, and then you can just chat back and forth with the custom GPT, and you might be able to find a way to do it that way.
Yeah. It's a good
But
idea.
I've seen YouTube videos of people creating their own Python investing tools that it'll go into the stock market and basically give you stocks that are not as popular, but they have a like an uptick on it, and you can possibly make some day trading moves doing that. But that's some like Python coding stuff you're gonna have to get into. But yeah, this tool I built it.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's pretty intense.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
I
is all
like
the data too.
You can copy. Yeah, you can copy the content, or you can do copy links only, copy the text only, download links PDF, and then generate the HTML, and then even download the PDF, the HTML into a PDF. And I found that being helpful for me when I'm creating my custom GPTs, because a lot of the GPTs on OpenAI, they like PDFs as a way to, add it to the knowledge base. So, but yeah,
That's a great idea.
Wow, Isaac, this is amazing, bro. You create it actually scrapes your scraper. It might be better than mine,
A
bro.
little while.
Yeah, I like
but,
it simple.
Is yours it's like a crawler too, like all yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I use
Yeah.
yours that's built into my AI team a lot, like
Yeah.
website, but that only does like the front page,
One
Like-
page, yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
And I'm like, I really need more.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So I needed more too. So I just started to mess around and kept plugging away, and I got it to like pretty intense. It draws a lot. So yeah, it's just a little tool I created using my AI team. So
Good job.
See, you're already a pro, Isaac, right? You're already learning. You don't need to go to college.
trying.
Yeah. What's
Dude, that's
We'll
impressive. Well done,
Yeah.
man.
This is
I'm
way
impressed.
cheaper way to learn.
Yeah, for sure. Just
That's
trial and
legit.
error.
Super legit. I'm impressed with your code, man.
sweet?
That's sweet.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys. Amazing class today.
All right.
Keep rocking it. I'll
Yep.
see you guys next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Love you
All
later.
All right, guys.
Great weekend.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Peace out, guys.